Welcome to the RV Cleaning Academy. Today I want to tell you guys a story about the worst day we ever had cleaning RVs. We made some huge mistakes when we first started our business. So I'm going to jump right into the story. This was a few years ago when me and my business partner Daniel actually started our RV cleaning business. So this was within the first couple months of starting. We had a client that called us and he said that someone else had recommended him, right? Another detailing business. Well, we put this guy on the schedule. Everything seems fine. And in the beginning, we were using this stuff called paste wax. So this is paste wax. This is Colonite Fleet Wax. And in the beginning, we made the mistake of thinking that paste wax was the way to go, because we assumed that like a spray-on wax product. Here I have like a bottle, like some spray wax, right? We thought that spray wax was just some like cheap, like garbage, So we wanted to be the best of the best. Like I said, we didn't have any information online about this kind of stuff. There was no YouTube channels teaching this thing. There was nothing online. There was just little tidbits of information. So we didn't know what we were doing. It was trial and error. So that's why we created RV Cleaning Academy, so we could help y'all out, so y'all don't have to go through this. But we thought that paste wax was the way to go, because paste wax requires more work. And for some reason we thought because it required more work that it was just going to last longer or was going to give like a better job. But here's the truth, guys. These days there's spray waxes and sealants that last a lot longer than a paste wax. Most paste waxes only last like 3 months, where you can get spray on stuff that can last up to a year, sometimes even over a year. So let me get back into the story. So yeah, we're using this stuff. Paste wax, you literally have to like take it out of this can or out of this bottle and you put it on the rag and you like wipe it onto the surface, okay? You wipe it on. So we were doing this, but we kept running into this issue. Every time we would get an RV, especially a fiberglass RV, so those chalky looking ones that are really nasty, that don't have any shine, that's an oxidized RV. Every time we got an oxidized RV, it was a pain in the butt to do the paste wax. To put it on and buff it off was a nightmare. And honestly, the RV would end up looking worse than when we started, and we didn't understand why. We were like, what are we doing wrong? We're using the best products. We're using, the best stuff available to us. So yeah, this client that I brought up earlier in the story, it was this guy. He had one of the nastiest, most chalkiest oxidized RVs I ever seen, right? So we go over there, we talk to him, he agrees. We scrub it, we start cleaning the RV, we rinse it, we scrub it down using what basic equipment we had at our disposal. And, we bust out the paste wax, we start, putting it in to the surface, waxing it in there. And it's time to buff the wax off. And we run into the same problem. It looks like smudgy and nasty. So when you use a paste wax on like an oxidized RV, it doesn't make it shine. Guess what? It doesn't make it shine at all. It doesn't make it have a shine at all. It literally looks like smudgy and smeary, and it's like inconsistent, and it looks horrible, guys. Just take my word for it, okay? It just looks terrible. So this is what happened with this guy's RV. Now I'm gonna call this guy. I'm just gonna say his name. His name was Blake. Right, I still remember his name. One of the worst clients we ever had. I remember when we got to the end of the job, so we finished waxing. The RV still looks like crap. I'm not gonna lie, it looked even worse than when we started. And that's what happens when you use paste wax on an oxidized RV, which that's like half the RVs that you're gonna have to clean, because those are the dirty ones, right? So I just remember this guy, he pays with a credit card. So I go to check him out. I charge him his credit card. I ask him, oh, how does it look? He says, yeah, it looks good. But his face is like super red. He said it looked good, but his face was extremely like red, like a tomato. So I charged his card. I got the money and I just left, right? We're off to the next job. So We go to the next job at an RV park nearby. It's just a wash job. Second mistake we made. It's just a wash. So this guy, he wanted us to clean his RV and he wanted us just to wash it. Just wash it. At this time, we did not have spotless water. We were just using the water hose. We would hook up to the guy's water spigot. We would rinse it. We would scrub it with soap. We would rinse it off. And then we would wax it afterwards to get the water spots and the streaks out. So that's why I talk about washing and waxing, right? People do wash and wax jobs because they can get all the water spots out afterwards and charge extra. So that's why washing and waxing is, the service you need to market in the beginning. But this guy only wanted a wash. That's it. So we never really washed an RV and just didn't wax it before. So we just washed his RV, we washed it, scrubbed it, right? And, we charged him money. And I just remember the guy came out. He already paid us. And he was just saying you're not going to draw it off? And, I told him, I still remember this to this day. I told him, I was like, oh, it's just a wash job. And he was like, there's water spots forming in the RV. What the hell? And then he gets charged $20 by the office. So the office calls him, the RV park office, and says because we use the water, that he was going to get charged $20. And this guy was livid. He was angry. And he literally came up to me. He cussed me out. He was like, you didn't tell me they were going to charge me $20. That for this wash job, that should come out of your pocket. And he's just cussing me out and stuff. And I just wanted the money. I gave him the $20 and I said, look, here you go, man. And I remember he screamed in my face. He literally screamed in my face. He said, this is the worst wash job ever. And dude, it literally echoed in my head. My business partner, Daniel, he said the same thing. He was like, later that day, we could not get that out of our heads. It was echoing in my mind. This is the worst wash job ever, ever, ever. And I remember that day we literally thought about quitting. We felt so beaten down and demoralized from that dude. But that's not it. The day got even worse. It got even worse after this. So we get the money from this guy. He cusses us out. We give him back $20. He says this is the worst wash job ever. He tells everybody in that RV park that we did a piss poor job. We stopped getting calls from that park. But later that day, later a few days later, the first guy with the paste wax that morning, he texts me and he says, hey, look, boss, I'm going to be honest. This does not look good. And when you're a detailer or even an RV detailer, that is a message you do not want to see, especially a few days later. And, my heart sank. And the guy was he was asking for his money back, right? And then he said, just send me back half the money. I did not send him back his money. I doubled down. I told him, I was like, look, that's just how your RV was oxidized. And he starts sending pictures of how bad it looks. He starts sending all these photos. And then he says, I was watching you through the window and you skipped a bunch of areas. And you guys use dirty wash mitts. That's why it looks like this. Obviously, we didn't skip any areas. We never skip any areas. We would never do that. So I told him, I was like, we didn't skip anything. So me and this guy are literally having a text battle. And he's saying I want a refund. I'm going to tell everyone what y'all did to me. Right? And he was claiming that we didn't wax his RV. And, trust me, it looked like crap. He thought it was going to shine. We didn't know at the time. We were inexperienced. By the way, guys, if y'all want to avoid this kind of stuff, download the free PDF ebook down below. It's going to save you a lot of headache. It literally, I have a warning about the paste wax in there. But if you guys want to learn how to get clients, how to, charge the clients, how to actually clean an RV properly with minimal equipment, download that PDF. It's going to make your life a lot easier if you're looking to actually clean RVs. So let's get back into it. So This dude, we're having a text battle, and I block his number. I literally block his number. And so he starts like emailing me. He like goes on our website. He finds my email. He starts like sending me like email after email, right? He literally like I ignore the emails, I block the emails. He calls the Better Business Bureau and then files a report on me. So I have the Better Business Bureau like calling my phone, and they're like, "Oh, we have a dispute with this guy Blake. You know, are you going to do anything to fight this dispute?" If you guys don't know what the Better Business Bureau is, it's not an actual real government entity. I did not cave into the Better Business Bureau. I told them to go, up themselves, basically. Let me tell you guys, over this incident, they harassed me for months, calling my phone, texting me, putting that, negative complaint on. They make a profile for you. Literally, if someone makes a complaint to the Better Business Bureau, there's a page for you on your website, like a Yelp page. And guess what? To get those complaints removed, you can literally pay the Better Business Bureau. So the Better Business Bureau is like Karens and stuff, and older folks. They all think it's like some government thing. They're like, if someone gets screwed over, they're always like, "Oh, report it to the Better Business Bureau." It's not an actual bureau. It's a company. It's a privately owned company. And yeah, in order to get those negative reviews off, you got to pay the Better Business Bureau. And guess what? They'll actually promote you if you pay them. If you're part of their club, it's like a membership or something. I'm not going to go too deep into it, but yeah, this guy reported me to the Better Business Bureau, and I had them harassing me. About a week after this incident, so he reports me to the Better Business Bureau. I get an email. I get a chargeback notice from this guy's credit card. By the way, if you ever have a customer that uses a credit card, watch out. Because guess what? They can call their credit card company and they can say that you like screwed them over or something. They call this friendly fraud. But yeah, no, I literally saw the money get it was like $300 something that we charged this guy. I see the money just get pulled out of my bank account. It didn't get pulled out of my bank account then. They told me that that he had filed a dispute, right? He said that this like payment, that he didn't get what he wanted for the payment, that basically we like screwed him over. And they basically said, you can dispute this or you can just accept the judgment. Well, I go to dispute this credit card chargeback, right, case. And it's the credit card company like mediating it, and it says like the customer complaint and whatnot, and like try to work it out. But yeah, no, I like fought against it, and it goes on. I submit my evidence. I tell them like, look, we waxed the RV, we washed it, we did what he paid us for. Yeah, it didn't look good, but we did what he paid us for. Well, because like we both disputed it, it went to like some form of the process where it was like some sort of like, it's not court, but it's like the credit card company like has some like people look over the thing, and they roll in judgment. Whoever's evidence is like good or not, they basically like give you back the money, and yada yada yada. The customer cannot charge you back. Well, I look into this. It says if I basically fight this case, right, if I go into this dispute, I could get back the $300. Or if I lose, they're going to charge me like $900. So they're going to charge me an extra $600 on top because it was like inconvenience to the credit card company. So I start going online and I'm like, how easy is it to win these cases? I find out online from other business owners, detailers and stuff, cleaning business owners, contractors, that the credit card company 90% of the time, 95% of the time, always rules in favor of like the credit card user. Because guess what? They're making money off that credit card owner, and they don't want the dude to cancel the credit card. So they're always going to take the side of the customer that used the card. They don't care if some business gets the money taken out, right? They just want the user of their credit card, their client, to be happy. So keep in mind, they're biased to support the person using the card, so the client. So at this point, I just give up. I'm like, if I lose this, and there's like a 95% chance I'm going to lose this, I'm going to get charged like $900. Like I said, this was in the beginning of our business, so I didn't have room to lose $900. I didn't have $900, right? You know, I was just like trying to invest back in the company and pay bills and whatnot. And, you know, it was our first few months of operations, so we didn't exactly have like a lot of money saved up. So that was the story of, yeah. Oh, by the way, bonus. He went on our Google. A final thing, this guy, Blake, the BBB complaint, the texting battles, the chargeback. So he took $300 out of my account, right? He goes on our Google and he leaves us a 1-star review. A 1-star review. He posts pictures of the crappy looking work. He, you know, makes this big paragraph. He says we didn't wax it. He just completely drags our name through the mud. And to this day, that review is still there on our Google page, and there's still people that bring it up. We still have clients that say that they read that review. They're like, oh yeah, what happened with that guy? This was like 3 years ago, guys. 3 years ago. Trust me, that was like the worst client I ever had. The job was a complete loss. It was a nightmare job. If I knew what I knew now, that would have never happened. I never would have lost that money. I never would have gone. We went months using this stuff. Months. And let me tell you, waxing an RV with paste wax, it's terrible. It sucks. It is climbing up and down ladders. It's elbow grease. Try to paste wax an RV. I'm telling you, it is horrible. It is a nightmare job. It takes forever. It's a lot of hard work. Go with a spray wax. Go with like a spray wax, guys, that like actually like lasts longer than a paste wax. Trust me, we've tested it. We've been doing the same RVs for years using spray wax, and it does work. It does protect the shine. It does keep oxidation from occurring. So anyone who tells you spray wax doesn't work, I'm telling you from personal experience, it actually does. You just have to use the right kind of spray wax. There's a million different products out there. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. If you guys want our recommendations, download the ebook down below. Also, check out rvcleaningacademy.com. Sign up for our course. We are currently in the midst of making a course, so get on that waiting list on there. Leave a comment down below if y'all have any questions. And as always, like, share the video. And yeah, check out the ebook, guys. A lot of good information in there. Check out our other channel videos. We've got tutorials. We've got all that good stuff. So if you actually want to learn how to clean an RV properly without using paste wax, check out our other videos. Peace.